Guys, I'm on this channel. Today we're going to review Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I got to go see it a couple days ago on Thursday, and it took me a little bit to kind of finally come to my thoughts, but here, I'm going to review it today. Go check out my initial reaction, Shazam Fury of the Gods review. Spider-Man rankings will come soon, and let's get started. Starting off with this movie's about, this movie has Miles Morales. He's kind of just sort of, he's growing up a bit, and he is sort of experiencing all Spider-Man did, in particular Tobey Maguire, where he's balancing out being or being his in his home life or his general life, and then being Spider-Man. He's sort of having trouble balancing that out, and that leads to him getting grounded and stuff, sort of. And then Gwen comes back and then tells him about this sort of Spider-Man big multiverse gang, and then there's apparently was this Spot character that showed up, who apparently was this huge threat to the multiverse, and then you have to stop him. It's the first part to the story. The good, I think this movie, it's a visual masterpiece. The animation there is beautiful. I love all of the sort of comic book artsy stuff, like with character and the backgrounds are meant to represent emotions. It looks cool. All of the different worlds they go to look different, and obviously, and unlike that weird Doctor Strange movie with Pizza in a Bowl last year, we got the actual Multiverse of Madness. And the cool thing is that it does things that you can't really do with live action. Like, each world looks different. It just looks fantastic. I love the animation here. It's just stunned. This is sort of a me thing, but I feel like sometimes I did feel like information overload. I was like really tired that night I watched it, but still really good. I was just stunned by the animation and the way they sort of shoot the action with the animation. Just looks cool, and I love the comic bookiness, and it doesn't have sort of the weird frame rate thing that the first one did, so I like that a bit more. I love what they did with Miles Morales, where he's sort of like figuring out how to be Spider-Man, sort of, and they're doing the usual shtick with how to balance out these two lives. I love what they did there, and they flesh out Gwen's character a lot more in here, where she has this whole thing with her father, and they do a lot with that. I love what they do. And by the way, this is a non-spoiler review. I'm not gonna spoil anything. And the Spot, I don't know what the actor said. He was a lot of fun. I was expecting the villain to be kind of weird, but they did a lot of fun things with him. And I thought he's cool, and I'm excited to see what they do with Beyond the Spider-Verse. By the way, this is a part one. I think this part was great. I love what they did with everything. I love what they did with I love what they did with Miles here. And in general, I love what they did with the whole Spidey world with Spider-Man 2099 as this whole multiverse thing. And I love what they do here with Spider-Man as a character, where they sort of deconstruct him, whereas Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse kind of gives the more positive side of the origin story. This gives sort of the more darker and negative side of it, where like that one person always has to die to make sure that they're to fulfill like a multiverse thing, which makes it very interesting when you stop and think about it. Like, Uncle Ben died, Aunt May died in No Way Home, and it makes me kind of think about all of these other things that I never really did before, because the movie knows the Spider-Man character very well. It knows what goes into making a good Spider-Man movie, and I just dug it. It was just fantastic. Everyone kind of hated the cliffhanger that I've seen on YouTube. I've heard like it was just not American. I thought, even though it does come to a hard stop, I admit it, I thought it worked. I'm not gonna get into what exactly happens there, but in general, I thought it was a little odd stuff going on in my room. But overall, I think it worked just fine. And then what was I gonna say? You got some other stuff like where you see in Into the Spider-Verse, you see Peter B. Parker kind of coming up to Miles, and then it takes some advice from him in his world. He sees MJ again, and then they have a kid, which you see in this movie, which I think is kind of a fun nod to the first one. And overall, I think they handled everything just very well here. This is so far, I think, the best movie of the year. And it just worked. The animation was stunning. The story works. Another thing it does very well, it doesn't have a lot of the issues that other comic book movies lately have, where they're trying to do the multiverse thing, but they're going bigger, but they're not exactly like, the story's just kind of messy. Here they have this huge story with a lot of characters, but like it works here, where like they're not playing into everything. They're not like trying to do everything. They're trying to do something that works and like take their time. And I'm glad they took their time between Into the Spider-Verse and this one, and then as you get into Beyond the Spider-Verse. I just love what they did here. I thought it was fantastic. This movie was great. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But there are some issues I'm gonna get into. No, the bad, and first thing, there's two or three things I want to talk about. First thing, the cliffhanger, it does come to a hard stop. I'm fine with it, but at the same time, it's like nothing was really resolved, and it's kind of like a TV show episode where like you see the cliffhanger, you have to wait next year for the next thing. And I thought it was cool. I thought it was good. I like the cliffhanger itself, but it's at the same time it's kind of frustrating when you end it on a complete cliffhanger, like it's like a hard stop, and then and you're not going to see that for another good 11 months. So there you go. And then second thing, I do think it's a little long. It's a very long setup movie for the most part. The first 30 minutes are pretty much dedicated to Gwen, and then we get to Miles, and then it takes us a while to get going. So you could have trimmed a good bit of that first hour of the movie, just a little bit down, maybe to like 30 to 45 minutes. I'm good with them like fleshing out characters, and I get it's supposed to be this epic story, but especially with an animated movie, it feels weird that we're doing this much setup. I thought it was great. And third thing, this is really just a me thing. I have this thing about just so much going on a screen at the same time. I mean, I didn't see in 3D or anything, but I was super tired. I had a shit sleep the night before, and then I wake up and I'm like exhausted. I forgot that I was seeing the movie that night. I woke up early. God. Yeah, that happened, and then I was super tired, and I didn't get into too much detail, but point is, I was just tired. At one point, I think I was like almost falling asleep, and it wasn't because like I wasn't enjoying the movie. Like I was just tired. But I mean, I wasn't close, but I didn't. So I got to see the entire movie. I thought it was great still, but there's a lot going on when you're watching on a big screen. So like it's just hard to comprehend everything as it's going on because it's like that thing I make this joke in class, the information overload. That's how I felt about this movie at times. But you know what? It was still fun. I really enjoyed it. For this movie's final score, I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. I think this one is on par with the first one. I think it's probably Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse, and then Spider-Man 2 is still number one. I don't know. They're all content. I'm going to rewatch 1 and 2, and then maybe I'm going to rewatch the trilogy, and then I'm going to rank the movies. So yeah, that's about it. Let me know what you thought about this movie in the comments below. I'm glad I got to see it a little early. I mean, like a day early, but it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this movie, and my sister did too. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Adios.